What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bull Combo, your source for album reviews, vlogs, live music, and more. Today we're talking Geist, the latest album by Pennsylvania-based synthcore masters, The Browning. So stick around and we'll talk all about this album and some of the changes you can expect for the band. Alright guys, so before we get started, I just wanted to take a couple seconds to announce the t-shirt winners. I know we had this competition going for the last few weeks, and I let it go a little bit longer than I wanted to just because I wanted to make sure everyone got the chance to enter it. The entries were a little slow at first, but toward the end they really picked up, so I really appreciate all of you guys entering that. And best of luck to everybody. So without further ado, the two winners of the t-shirt giveaway are David Goku 94 and Jesse Petrie. Congratulations, you guys. You are the both winners of a t-shirt from the channel. Might include a few other pieces of swag in there as well. So I'm going to need your contact information, specifically your shipping address. So if you could reach out to me, you have a couple different ways you can do it. You can reach out to me at thebullcombo@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me directly on Twitter, just send me a DM, or you can send me a message on YouTube if you're familiar with how to use YouTube messages. So a couple different ways to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me any of those ways. I should see it, and then we'll go from there. Make sure to comment on the video too and say, hey, I messaged you or reached out to you. That's another way I can see it, and I'll go look for that. But again, congratulations, you guys. Thank you to everyone else who entered the competition. And when I hit 2,000 subscribers here in the next few weeks, I'll probably do another giveaway of some sort, and we'll see. Maybe we can do something a little bit different and kind of keep it going, keep those engagement opportunities going for you guys. So let's go ahead and talk The Browning. Before we get started talking about the overall sound of the album, I think The Browning is one of those bands where it's really important to appreciate the production quality. As The Browning has gone on as a band, their production quality has gotten increasingly higher in quality, and I mean more above par, so to speak. I really feel like on this album, this is the best production quality they've had to date. And I think it really shows, it really shines through on a lot of these songs. The different levels of all the instruments and the different synth sounds that are going on really just sit so well in the mix. And when I'm listening to this in my car, you know, with my system turned up, it sounds sweet. So kudos to The Browning for making an album that just sounds really dope to drive around and listen to. And that's, you know, that's a win in and of itself. So in terms of the sound, I think that this is probably going to fall in line with what you'd expect from The Browning. The Browning's very much a synthcore band, metal, deathcore, with a lot of traces of synth and electronic over top of their music. And they're not abandoning that style one bit on this album. If anything, they're just trying to refine it a little bit, and I think they do a pretty good job of doing that throughout the whole album. For the most part, I do feel like this album does feel like a standard Browning album. It does have a lot of the same characteristics, a lot of the same elements that really make a Browning album a Browning album. And so if you've been a big fan of the Browning for all their albums up to this point, which they've had quite a few, then you're not going to be disappointed in terms of the sound. It definitely falls in line with that Browning sound. But I do like the fact that they tried to explore some things they haven't done before and really try to move outside of the box in terms of some of that creativity. I think there are some surprises on this album that, especially for the Browning fans or fans that have followed the band for a while, some surprises that you guys will probably appreciate, maybe more so than the average casual listener. I think one of the first changes you'll notice on the album is the incorporation of clean vocals, which is something that's really kind of new for the Browning. They've never really incorporated clean vocals before, maybe hit or miss here and there, but on this album, there's several songs that have clean vocals on them, much more frequency than anything previously. And I like that. I think that it's really cool of the Browning to try something different, for their vocalist to step outside his comfort zone a little bit. And I mean, it sounds good. It doesn't sound bad. The clean vocals don't sound really forced. They don't sound you know, out of place or anything like that. Now, the clean vocals are clean, but they aren't clean in the sense of, sounds like, you know, something you'd hear on the top 40s radio. I mean, obviously there's a lot of roughness to his clean singing voice. So, you know, I think it does fall in line with the sound that you'd expect from the Browning, and it's not a huge dynamic change that suddenly throws you off when you're listening to it in the song. You're like, whoa, what happened there? Why does he sound like that? So it's nothing like that. I think it actually makes a lot of sense in the songs. I think it's just a logical progression for the band, something different that they tried to do. And I think it works out for the most part. I think that it adds a layer of diversity to the music, you know what I mean? And diversity's key. Diversity's key. And with the Browning, I feel like sometimes their albums lack diversity, if only because a lot of their songs, you know, are the same formula. You can only make a song containing synth and metalcore elements so many times before it starts to sound repetitive. So I think in a lot of ways, including things like clean vocals, including some more stepped up guitar riffs, I think those things were kind of required, you know, just to keep the band moving forward and progressing in a way that maybe it felt like the direction that they were moving and that they wanted to move in. So in a lot of ways, I think a lot of these changes that you'll hear on this album are logical progressions for the Browning, and things that were probably done more so out of necessity necessarily than out of creative experimentation. So in that regard, you know, I think the Browning obviously has pigeonholed himself into a specific sound genre, and you know, that has its pluses, it has its pros, and it has its cons. When you pigeonhole yourself into a genre like that, you know, for one, you're going to have fans that expect you to have a certain sound when you come out with a new album because you've done that every album previously. So, I mean, you kind of set yourself up for, you know, you set other people's expectations up, which in turn kind of requires that you come out with a certain style of music. So in that regard, I mean, I think the Brownings probably pigeonholed themselves a little bit into this genre over the years by releasing albums that are so similar and have that same musical style. But that's okay, because there's not a lot of bands that do this exactly like the Browning. In fact, I don't know if there's any band that does it exactly like the Browning. And so that, you know, that gives them a niche, that gives them their own spot in that music scene where people can really come in and appreciate them and listen to them and hear something fresh that they don't hear from all the other bands coming out. So I think that's awesome. Overall, I think Geist is a really solid album for the Browning. It's 12 tracks. It's not anything you haven't heard before, but if you're a fan of the Browning, if you're a fan of metalcore or deathcore with the synth electronic elements over top of it, some really great breakdowns, some really cool beat drops, and some fun moments, then I think you're really going to like this album. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It comes out today on Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, etc. Make sure to check it out. If you can, make sure to buy the album. I know it's easy to stream those things, but bands don't get nearly as much money from streaming royalties as they do from actual album sales. So if you can buy the album, if you can buy their merch, you can go to their shows, etc. You guys always hear me say this, but you know, it's really important to support these bands, because if we don't support these bands, they don't exist, they don't make us music, we don't have music to enjoy, and that sucks. So make sure to support those artists, and not just support those artists, support your local artists. All of these bands were local at some point, guys, so you never know when the next big band's going to come out of your area. Be there when they're small. It's pretty cool, trust me. It's really cool to watch a band go from small to huge and to know that you are a part of their fan base the entire time and that you are one of the people that help support them. So get out there, support those bands, go to those shows, have fun, guys. I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like the videos you're seeing here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click that bell to get notified. Try to come at you guys with a new video every week or every other week, depending upon, you know, when new albums are coming out, and I have some good solid content to give you guys. So we're going to be back next week with another album review, I think, so make sure to check back. Until then, guys, I appreciate you checking this out. I hope you guys all have a great day, and until next time, we will see you soon.